Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I'm here in our backyard and this is Barbara's bike behind me. I put it upside down on the picnic table. I had to fix a flat. Like, for some reason she had a flat on her bike yesterday, and I just put a better rear tire on there and then a new tube. So now I got another new tube and I got the wheel for the switch kit that I'm going to put in the front of the bike. I'll show you what we have there now, and everything needs a little bit of cleaning up before we put this on the road, but other than that it shouldn't be a problem. So right now we have this old wheel here. It's a little dirty but it's in good shape. This one has a quick release. And if you look through the spokes there, you see on the fork there's some kind of hook there that latches onto a bolt. I have that on each side. What I'm going to put is this wheel. It's the wheel for the switch kit. I haven't been able to check the true on it. We'll check that when it's inside the fork. I have a brand new tube, a Bell brand, whatever, and I have a used but good tire, because we're going to leave this wheel intact the way it is. Yeah, I figure if we leave this other wheel intact, then we can swap this out if we ever have to, for whatever reason it may be, because that motor hub is considerably heavier than a regular wheel.
Before we can fit the new wheel, we have to put the tire on it. So here's a brand new tube, and then I pump it up just enough to give it the shape. And then I put it inside the tire, line up my valve stem with the writing on the tire, so if we ever get a flat, we know exactly what position the tube was in, and then I just put it on there. It's a bit tight, so I grab for the lever. After pumping it up, I make sure it's seated correctly by looking all around the bead. Time to remove the old wheel, undo the quick release, and then don't forget the brakes, and it should pull right out.
So we're looking at the brand new wheel. I took off so far the wheel nut. This doesn't have a quick release, it's solid, and by the looks of it this will need a 17 or so millimeter wrench. And I hope this axle will actually fit into that dropout, but it's got a flat spot there, so that's a good thing. And then we have those rubber caps that go onto the nut. Let's have a look at the other side. It's the same thing basically. Everything fits over this wire. So this would be the non-drive side. So it's positioned correctly here. And we'll have to see how this fits into the dropouts up there.
Barbara's bike is a mountain bike from the 1990s. They all had pretty much the same width at the fork. So once I removed all the washers, it fit like a glove. There are, however, two special washers that are keyed to the dropouts, presumably to avoid putting too much strain on the axle when the motor is running. On the other side, I have to guide the wire through the nut, no problem. So once everything is aligned correctly, I can tighten it with a 17 millimeter wrench, not shown here.
So here we go, the nuts are nice and tight. Now we got this cap that goes on there. Keep everything nice and clean, I'm assuming. There, that fits. There's one on the other side as well. So I think for now this is as far as I'm gonna go. I was planning to complete this entire job today, but there's always tomorrow. I'm gonna try riding this the way it is right now with the wire hanging out. Just to make sure everything works, like the brakes, and you know, it spins freely and stuff, which it should. Alright, this bike is too small for me, but the brake works. I just wanted to make sure the wheel spins freely and it seems to be good. Have a look. Yeah, the rack is crooked. The front rack is crooked, so that was deceiving me as I was putting it on, but it's all good. The wheel's just about perfect. So the wheel's in, that's good. I do this one step at a time, like my day is done today, so tomorrow after work. Hi there, I'm back here in my backyard looking to set up this Switchbike. Not quite there yet. Now the next thing that I gotta do is definitely charge the battery pack, and I discovered something about it that I definitely don't like very much, and I show you what it is right now. See, to turn this on, you're supposed to click on this minus sign or on this plus. There's a switch behind there. However, I cannot accomplish anything by hand, so they recommend you use this tool. Yeah, I can feel something there and there. No, there's nothing. No, nothing lighting up, because I'm assuming my battery's not charged at all. But when I go inside there, I can feel something, but I can't quite figure out what it's doing in there. So that's not a good thing. Shouldn't have to do this. So be warned, there's a switch inside there. You gotta click it to the 1 position. Now on my charger, there's a red light on. That's all I got. So I gotta just wait until this turns green and then see if there's any change in this. Right now there's no indication of it at all. See, you got a display here. It says battery level, hold to turn on. Oh, we got some life here. Okay, we see battery level is low right now. So we just gotta let this charge, and in the meantime we're installing the rest of the kit. Next thing to watch is how big is the space between the crank arm and the frame. According to the manual, if we have 4mm plus, it's called Easy Fit Regular. So I guess I need the inside spacer for this disc. See, that is definitely more than 4mm. To install the magnetic disc, there are 2 spacers in the kit, and they have some sort of teeth that you're supposed to cut back to make it fit, which really doesn't work too well. I'm telling you, they should have just put a number of different spacers in different sizes, maybe rubber. But here I'm struggling to put this on and it just doesn't fit right. So you're guessing, which is not good. When you finally do stick it together, then there's a snap ring you have to put over the whole thing so it stays that way. It's not that hard to put on. However, when you're done with it, you'll notice that, well, it's still not right. Right, according to my instructions, this is correctly installed. However, do you notice this gap here? And how there's a pin inside there that isn't quite snapped in? On the other side, same thing. So yeah, I wasn't happy with this. Everything got taken off again, and now you see me cutting down those spacers or those teeth or whatever you want to call them. But I'm totally guessing right now. I don't know how much I have to cut off. There's no good way of measuring this really, so eyeball it and hope you get lucky, I guess. And here's the second attempt at putting this on. Like the snap ring and the whole disc, it snaps together as it's supposed to be now. But now there's a different problem because it's kind of got some play there. It's too loose. That's not good, is it? Yep, I cut it off a little bit more and guess what? Now it was too loose. So what do? What you see me doing here is I cut a piece of electric tape narrow enough so I can put it around the spindle. So installing this magnetic disc took a whole lot more time than it normally should. Maybe I'm too picky here, but I want this to fit properly and I want this to stay on when Barbara is riding the bike. Now the big beef I have with this is that it's guesswork. You never know how much of this you have to cut off. You start cutting off a little bit, it doesn't fit. You cut off a little bit more, now you got some play in there. I don't know how serious this is, but that's the reason I put some electric tape around that part of my spindle. It's very little. I don't think it's going to interfere with my seal and my bearings or anything, but it's going to make this more snug. Now, the question I have is, why couldn't they make something with a piece of rubber or something like that that would give it some kind of support? This is a joke, really, seriously.
Well, thanks to some electric tape in my toolbox, the disc now fits. The next step is to secure the magnetic disc bracket to the crank arm. For that, there are some very thin zip ties that are supplied. Again, I'm thinking maybe this is not the best way, but hey, it comes with the kit.
Okay, so this is what we have for the magnetic disc. What's missing is the sensor. We have to kind of make sure this is more or less straight, because if this is rotating unevenly, then we might have a problem. Well, the next step is to put that sensor on there, and then that's it for tonight. The rest of it will have to be in part 2 of this video. I was expecting to do this in one shot, but I wasn't expecting to have any problem installing this magnetic disc. And yeah, it was a bit of a wonky thing.
The sensor has a self-adhesive backing to attach to the frame, so I gotta make sure it's clean. And then once it's on there, it gets secured, well, you probably guessed this by now, by some more of these really thin zip ties. Finally, the sensor needs to be adjusted to pass close to the magnetic disc. You'll need an Allen key for that, and a little wrench. Don't use the pliers like I did, I was just getting impatient here. And it also doesn't really specify how close, so I guess you just try it and see if it works. The cable for the sensor has to go up the down tube, so I'm putting some tie wraps on there for now, and that'll be the last thing for today.
This shall be it for this video. I'll be continuing the installation probably this weekend, and then there'll be a part 2. Right now I cannot complete this, I'm running out of daylight. I had to fiddle with the sensor now. I think it's in a good position. Might have to move a little bit, and if I have to do that, well, it might be a problem because there's a sticky side to this that might not be so easy to undo and redo, but we're talking millimeters here. So I hope you give this video a thumbs up. There will be part 2, like I said, and we're gonna make this work. Do I like this switch kit? Not 100%, but I'll tell you more about that once it's complete and once we get to try this out on the road. There you go, being honest.